Lynn, we are live, and it is our first episode of Maximize Excellence. And your host today is Lynn Whitesell, my business partner, and myself, Lori Harris. And we're really honored to be able to produce and publish this podcast for our clientele and for our constituents and our audience that's out there today. So, welcome. We're going to start today's podcast since it's our very first episode. We're going to introduce the concept and theory of maximize excellence. And before we do that, we wanted to talk a little bit about why this podcast, why maximize excellence in today's world of business. And we know that over the past few years that Lynn and I, in our work that we do, a lot of times it comes down to, especially through COVID, about talking and sharing thought leadership and insights on organizational development, executive leadership and team development, and also coaching, culture and engagement topics and conversations, succession planning, and all the talent management topics, which we're going to dig into in just a little bit here. Those kinds of conversations have been pretty prevalent and are being realized right now as the heart of business strategy. And investors, board of directors, executives, leaders, and teams even are committing themselves to understand the complexities of talent management, its nature, and they're also aligning their vital resources to their company philosophies and business strategies so that they can assure and ensure success. And maximize excellence, this podcast, its sole purpose is about heightening the awareness of and the undeniable importance, right, Lynn?
Yes.
The undeniable importance and impact of talent management to the bottom line satisfaction, business success, and sustainability, even to the outcome of being able to show the ROI and the profitability of when we are good stewards and good leaders and have a great talent management strategy, how that can really maximize excellence and effectiveness in our organizations and with our people. And so, Lynn, why don't you dig in a little bit and talk about talent management and what it entails?
Okay. Well, talent management is, if you're in business, you've probably heard the term talent management, and you may think, hey, that's some HR jargon. And yes, HR is concerned with talent management, as is every business leader in every company, every successful company out there. It's not just HR jargon. It's really your organization's commitment to bring in the best people with the highest potential who will serve your company, and your company will serve them as well, in the best way possible, getting those really high potentials and the best people available on the job market for you, and having a well thought out strategy, a people strategy. Talent management is around people, and it's really around maximizing people and maximizing the value that people bring to your organization so you can maximize your organization. And having a well thought out strategy around talent management, around the people of your organization that aligns directly with your business strategy. That is how you maximize excellence in your people, in your leaders, in your teams, and ultimately in your organization. There's a model that at Harris Whitesell Consulting that we consider when we talk about talent management. These are some of the things that fall into the concept of talent management. How do you staff your workplace? How do you find people? What values are you looking for them to have? What kind of culture do you have within your organization that makes people, attracts them, makes them want to work for you and for your organization? How are you going to take care of those people? How are they going to take care of your business? So what are the competencies you're looking for that align with the values, that align with your strategy? What is that? Have you thought about it? How are you going to develop the people? How are you going to develop your organization? How are you going to develop your teams and your leaders? Have you thought about it? You're doing something. Is it purposeful? Is it intentional? Do you know that it's aligning with the outcomes that you're looking for? And then for planning your workforce, what kind of succession have you thought about? If you have a leader leave, who's next up? Is it next batter up, or is it let's scramble now? We haven't thought about this. How are you measuring? How are you looking at performance? Are you looking at it as we did even 10 years ago? Or are you looking at it as something that continues all the time with continuous discussions, not a once a year retrospective of how did you do, but a continuing discussion on how are we doing it? How are we doing towards goals? Are things changing? And what can we do even better? And what can we maximize to maximize excellence? And then also the effectiveness of your organization. Are you measuring that? How do you know if you're effective or not? What does effective mean? What does it mean for your organization? Because that's going to be different for your organization than probably anybody else's. How effective are your teams? Are they cohesive? Are they performing? Are they reaching goals? Are the goals aligned with your business strategy? Again, your culture it drives everything. And employee engagement, are they engaged? Do they care? Are they giving that discretionary effort? What do you have in play that makes sure that they are? So all of those things fall into the concept of talent management. And as you can see, every leader in an organization, every member of a team has a responsibility here. It's not just HR jargon and HR's responsibility. It's yours.
So, Lynn, let's talk a little bit about our services and how we help CEOs, senior executives, board of directors, leaders, and teams achieve positive, measurable, lasting change in behavior for themselves throughout their culture, with their people, with their teams, and how, with our services, our clients realize success and they want that effectiveness streamlined throughout the organization. And we help managers transition into these new appointments that they have, into leadership roles, and that emerging talent as well, and grooming them for succession. There's a lot to this. So some of our services are there's almost a methodology to it, and so I'm going to talk about a little bit about how we begin with assessment. And Lynn, what I want you to do is let's you and I bounce off of each other. We do this pretty well. And what I love about our assessments is that it's customized. So we don't just come in and say, okay, these are the assessments that we're going to utilize to, one, identify the culture, the organizational and people data that we need in order to help you with strategy for talent management and talent development. But we actually come in and do that needs assessment and look at which evaluations and which assessments are really needed for the organization.
And Lori, I would say here, kind of what we say here is we don't write a prescription, and it's the same prescription for every company, every leader, every team, every member of an organization. We come in and we diagnose, and these science-based assessments, and we have quite a few that we and our team members are certified, qualified, and experienced in leading and performing in an organization. We diagnose first, though. And then we make the prescription. And what you'll find is so many have a one size fits all, and we do not. So we're proud of that.
Yeah, and exactly. And without this data, it becomes quite difficult really to realize the progressiveness of change and the progressiveness of development that we're seeking with these individuals that we work with and with these organizations that we're helping to develop as well. So some of those assessments are things like leadership effectiveness, behavioral and cognitive assessments, communication intelligence, personality assessments, cohesiveness of teams, and organizational culture. Also the 360s we have a variety of we use Center for Creative Leadership benchmarks suite, and we've got a variety of 360 instruments that we use as well. And we also have a global leadership assessment that works well with global organizations and leaders who are working globally.
Absolutely. And in selecting, Lori and I both, and again, members of our team are quite experienced in this. Before we formed, let's talk a little bit about how we formed. We almost have a 4-year anniversary, Lori. February 2022. It will be 4 years
right.
from us.
It's pretty exciting.
Very exciting. And, I know for me, I started out as a scientist working in the pharmaceutical industry. And then for 25 years, though, I've really been working in this talent field and in this field of developing people and leaders and teams and organizations and culture and organizational effectiveness and all of those things. And there are certifications that you get along the way. Lori has a very broad experience in leadership and executive leadership and working with leaders. You'll talk about yourself, I'm sure. But we're yin and yang. We have a core that our values are aligned, and what we're trying to do is aligned, and but our experiences are varied, and that's been very, very effective for our clients and the people that we work with, and for ourselves too, because we continually learn from each other. I know I learn from Lori every day.
And you. And what's great about this, Lynn, is we really practice what we preach. Mm-hmm. So when we come in and we work with organizations, we've done that for ourselves. And our advisors and our mentors work with us to work with each other. And we really realize the value of its impact and utilizing, optimizing, and maximizing. We use these words a lot because they are real. Mm-hmm. And when we do these things and we use this data, we find the ability to truly work together, even if there are differences, even if there is that diversity of thinking and diversity of background and diversity of our experiences throughout our careers, and also the diversity of our own personal lives as well, that thread through each and every day. And so what I love about this is that it's not just a program that we're bringing to the table. This is something that we have experienced from our own careers, from our own experience. We were adamant about keeping it real for our own experience in developing our own company. And we know the value that it brings to our clients and the organizations that we're out there working with as well.
Yeah, Lori, and I would say something we bring, of course, we bring the expertise, we bring the experience, we bring the certifications, we bring that. That's table stakes, though. That's table stakes. That gets you there. We bring passion. Yeah. Very passionate about developing leaders, about developing organizations, about helping successful people and organizations become even more successful. And I think that really shows in the outcomes of what we get. And as you said, we don't just come in with a canned program. We offered a very comprehensive, anything that can have anything to do with talent management almost, we offer, but we don't offer all of it for every client. We customize for each what it is you need for success for your organization. And we're passionate about doing that right.
Yeah. And so it doesn't stop at assessments. The great part is we coach. We coach executives, we coach board of directors, we coach leaders, we coach those rising stars, those emerging leaders and high potentials, and we coach teams as well. And that experience in itself, coaching has become very popular these days. And one of the things about coaching that I believe is very, very unique is we care about your results, and we care about our clients' experience through that coaching engagement, and we care about their return on investment. And we also are very adamant and recognize there's no one size fits all approach for a client or for a group. And it's because their work, the working environment are all unique. And we look at that and we really dig in and really apply that to the agreement and to the process and the protocol that we take our clients through when we coach them. So we customize that approach for each and every one of our clients and each and every one of our teams that we work with. And some of the things that people can expect from our coaching is a shared vision. And we work to transform those individuals, teams, and help create that positive, lasting, effective culture. And we are focused on helping those individuals and teams understand shared leadership and how empowerment can really make a difference in an organization, and how they can realize high levels of performance and productivity, competitive advantage, and sustainability. And then also, Lynn, I think another thing that comes out of our coaching and our clients, the testimonials that we have on video and that we have on Google and others, it's amazing how they continue to tell us that their own transformation of their own being and their own behaviors and the value that they get and the intensity of self-worth, that they increase that self-worth and that self-esteem. And it really does help them make better decisions and be a better leader and be able to better influence others so that they also become more productive as well.
Absolutely. Really helping leaders better understand themselves. It starts with understanding what makes you tick.
Yeah.
And what behaviors that you really need to amplify, and what behaviors might you need to look at to say, can I do something more effectively here? And understanding that others on your team have different needs than you have. So as a leader, what is the importance for you leading each person in a different way, in the way that they need? And we've had really some remarkable outcomes with leaders and executives that we have worked with, and with teams as well. And the impact it makes, again, to organizational success and the health of their organizations, and frankly, to their bottom line, the profit margins, seen increases there. So it's, such an enjoyable thing to do.
And this is a direct flow into development, and we do organizational development, we do team development, we do executive development, leadership development, career development. So talk a little bit about those areas as well. I think that this is a nice segue into the development piece of what we do.
So for executives, if you think about the relationship that most executives have, it's a one-to-many relationship. I mean, everything that an executive does has many, many eyes on it. And often we'll find that executives, when we get into coaching and that very intimate relationship that is executive coaching, we find that they themselves may have imposter syndrome, or they themselves have areas that could potentially be a pitfall for them, that could cause them to derail, that they're totally not aware of, or areas they know they want to work on that they are aware of. So working with those people who impact many, and also with the leadership development piece of looking at leadership behaviors and helping people really identify those one or two areas, because we know you can't work on 10 and be successful. How do you hyper focus, and on what? How do you choose what that is? And then working with teams and members of teams and leaders of teams. And we sometimes start out with team assessments of sorts to say, what kind of team do we have? What kind of people do we have on each team? Are we aligned in such a way behaviorally that we can meet business goals? So is there alignment there? And the team culture, we measure that.
And I love it too, Lynn. We actually have a couple niches that we work in regards to this as well, such as women in leadership. So we've got a program, Remarkable Women Leaders Accelerator, that focuses on a 15-month in-depth women's leadership development program. We've got a program specifically designed for dentists and dental practice owners and those executives that help those dentists grow their practice and their teams in their business. And we've got a great program very specifically for pharmaceutical companies and their teams as well. And it's very dynamic, and it's again very customizable to organizations in various industries as well.
Absolutely. We also, Lori, have our high potential program for
Yes.
leaders, leaders emerging into leadership roles, or leaders who are already in leadership roles, emerging into executive, and some really finely honed programs that we have there. So excited to be able to offer what's needed out there in the marketplace. And what we've,
And that's a great segue, Lynn, into, I mean, we're experiencing change and transition. The reality of our lives right now, the reality of business right now is change and transition. And as an event in itself, that instance of something becoming different than the way we knew it before, and that being able to identify that distinction and being able to build those strategies and shift and become more resilient and begin to realize how you are highly designed and capable of adapting and transitioning into these new innovative, not just technology, but methodologies and behaviors that are needed in today's workforce and in today's cultures for success. And we offer quite a bit of programming around that with culture change, change management, and change leadership.
Absolutely. And we all know what's been happening in the world. I think it's accelerated change to a great degree. And what we're finding is that the culture you have that was successful for you before may not be the culture that you need going forward to sustain success. It may be something different, that it may not, but it may. Do you know? How do you know? How do you find out? What is the culture that you need? And then people talk about culture and don't realize you have a culture. I don't care if you're a company of two or you're a company of 200,000, you have a culture. It's simply what people do when nobody's looking. And it's either very intentional and you've planned it and you've aligned everything to it, or it's not. And where it's not planned, it's where typically cultures may be failing you. So, that's another area.
That and employee engagement and employee experience, those exit interviews, stay interviews, the engagement pulse surveys, and the engagement strategy that we've got. We've got particular programming, I guess is the right word, to help these organizations really identify where they're at in those stages and how they can actually build and develop those individuals so that they realize higher levels of employee engagement.
Absolutely. Because what do you want? Higher levels of employee engagement? Well, we could go on and on. It was fast years, but basically they care about your company and they care so much they give discretionary effort, which is a very important thing. And by the way, for them to care about your company, you have to care about them. So, what does that mean? And so when Lori was talking about the exit strategies or the exit interviews and the stay interviews, do you know why people are leaving? And as important, or more importantly, do you know why people are staying? So really getting some concrete information around that, other than this is what I think, to become this is what I know.
And then the outwardly strategies as well, like your customer strategies. So your sales strategies and identifying where your team is and how they can enable higher levels of communication intelligence, and also just those basic behavioral and tactical skills that support that sales process, as well as the customer experience and those strategies with that service excellence training as well that's needed. So we do offer some experience and programming in that, and also around customer profile and segmentation, that all align back into that talent strategy that you're looking for, that serves the organization's and the company's philosophies and strategies, so that You optimize your talent to your business strategy so you're getting those collective results. And then lastly, Lynn, the thing I want to mention, because we're almost running out of time here, is we offer various speaking engagements as well as workshops as well. So why don't you dig in just a little bit with that?
Sure. So we can offer a online or in person. We love in person, but we also are quite experienced with online workshops that could be an hour long, 2 hours long, 3 days long, a day long. So workshops, training programs. Lori, you mentioned some of the training programs specifically that we have. So
Mhm.
we have programs that are open to the public. And so, for instance, the women's program that we have, women from all different walks of life, all different companies come and join us for that program. We also can take that program, bring it into your company, and offer it, customize it, and offer it for you and your company. Often our programs do involve some back end coaching when it's more than an hour or two workshop. Sometimes our brief workshops involve assessment up front. So as we're doing the workshop, we're giving assessment results, but we also are able to build the workshop based on what we know about your company. We love public speaking. We love doing keynotes. We love doing workshops. We love interacting with people. And so check us out with that.
And everybody at our website is full of content, and we have a blog, and we write and we share. We have a lot of speaking engagements that you can I guess go and review and see us in action. Read the content, the thought leadership. We partner with organizations like Forbes and others where we are collaborating in the realm of talent management each and every day. And we love sharing that thought leadership out. So please take advantage of that. And if you have any questions, reach out. Lynn and I are both available on LinkedIn
Yes, we
and our company as well, which is where you're watching this from, our LinkedIn live show. We'll be offering this each month. And I'm very, very excited to say in the upcoming episodes of Maximize Excellence, already begun to book some of the world's best class talent. And we're going to be featuring guests such as Jerry Komlovsky, who's the Chief Technology Officer with American Insurance. And he's going to be talking about the future of leadership and how some of the technology today is really going to be impacting us. And then, of course, Lynn and I both are Marshall Goldsmith certified coaches and facilitators, and we couldn't be more than tickled to have Marshall Goldsmith himself that's going to be coming on. And so keep an eye out, stay tuned. We're going to be announcing the date and time for that, and we're going to be talking about how coaching can actually help individuals and leaders maximize excellence for themselves. We're going to be also speaking with Anthony Marion, who's the Executive Vice President of Fiserv. And we're going to be digging in about talent management, workforce staffing, workforce development and planning, organizational effectiveness, and some of those other topics with him. And then we have another guest that we've already booked, and it's Lindy Cashin. She is the Vice President of People at the Honor Foundation, which is a military nonprofit that works with veterans to assist those transitional leaders, specifically the operations force that are coming out of the military and transitioning into civilian world. And Lynn and I are coaches for that organization, and we volunteer our time with them to help them with that transition. And we're really, really proud and honored to do that because these individuals are absolutely superior. And so we're excited to have Lindsay on board as well. And there's going to be a lot more coming into the pipeline because right now the list for Lynn and I, we decided to go big and go worldly. And we're really excited because people are coming through the pipeline and agreeing to do this show. So we're excited to grow Maximize Excellence podcast. And we hope you stay tuned each month to come in and listen in. We're going to be bringing thought leadership with this first episode, Lynn. It's exciting that we're
It
getting this
is.
started. This has been a dream since the very beginning, and it's been in our strategy. So, Lynn and I will be honored to be your host, and sometimes it'll be just Lynn, sometimes just me, and sometimes both of us. But we're excited to do this show, bring this world class talent to the table to talk about the importance and heightening of talent management in the workplace. And it's small business to that large global corporation. So don't think that it's just for those large corporations. It is for everyone out there, those entrepreneurs, those first time business owners, those organizations that are small to mid-size, and also those corporations and those conglomerates that we've got that are global. So we thank you very, very much. Lynn, do you have any last words?
Just go out there and maximize excellence.
Love it. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you on the next episode in January with Jerry Komlofsky. And that is going to be on January 24th. If you want more information about the show, please visit our website at harriswhitesellconsulting.com and click on our events Maximize Excellence podcast. You'll see our shows listing there. And also, you'll be able to access our services and blog, and you'll also be able to rewatch any of our episodes on this page as well. Connect with our company out on LinkedIn. It's Harris Whitesell Consulting. And connect with Lynn and I as well on LinkedIn. We're happy to help, and we're here to serve. Thank you, everybody.
Louie, bye.
Bye.